Okay, so Quiz did alright, I guess. I mean, that's it. You can go over the fact that he used the simple domain, this and that. He's a good grade 1. Everyone was hyping him up. He's gone. He got cooked. He's off panel now, so there's not much to say. There's nothing to say. Uyui came for the rescue, and he was about to get killed until luckily Miguel pulled up. Okay, which kind of puts Miguel minimum grade 1. Okay, I mean he was the one who was training Yuta, so it might even be special grade because even Gojo when he first saw him, he's like, this guy's gonna be trouble, right? He gets up. But I mean either way, outside of Miguel being fast, having gone toe to toe with the honored one, there's not much else. Because again, every time, what can I say about what I think might happen in the next chapter, right? Because currently everyone's getting killed, everybody's dying, everybody's getting bodied, pulled off the, well, not necessarily dead, but being definitely pulled off of the battlefield. We don't know Miguel's curse technique. Though I just realized, and something that no one's mentioned, like if we're bringing in everyone for the fight, why did we forget about Takaba, right? Yeah, he was out there resting and stuff, but why? He can pull up as well. Okay, say Miguel gets bodied. Next, we can finally pull up Takaba. And that's when I think he's really going to start putting the hands on him, right? Might be able to convince him, like, this guy, yeah, this guy, we can't let him live. We got to get rid of his smile, basically. It's an evil smile. So that can happen, right? Like, do we not realize that Takaba's still there? He's a special grade, beyond special grade, basically packed up Kenjaku. Had Kenjaku not been able to be a funny lad, Yuta took care of it as well. So if we can at least get him in that little, like, dream sequence or in his reality bending curse technique. I mean, he was even stated to be able to contest with someone like Gojo anyway, right? Just because of his curse technique and what it actually does. So why not be able to go toe-to-toe with Sukuna? I mean, Miguel has to have something, right? Either it'd be his curse technique or just straight durability. I mean, he was getting beat around by Gojo, and we already know just a single punch of those is enough to make even Yuta and Hakari throw up. Speaking of Hakari, he could also pull up technically. You know, get some heavy hitters, Takaba, Hakari, and Miguel. And or unless Uyui just teleports them both out right then and there, and then we don't have to think about it. It's just like, oh, I'm actually not here, and they just leave. And then Hakari comes in, right? Which begs the question, why can't Miguel? It's probably decent enough to at least help Hakari fight Uraume, right? Either way, outside of prediction for who else might come into the fight, there's not much else to consider. So until next chapter, and we get to see who pulls up, then we can finally be like, oh, okay, this is what's happening, right? Or this is how this will happen. We'll see. Again, we'll see. This is the kind of manga where it's getting repetitive, but only because it's, what else would you expect, right? It's only because it's every other week or every week that a new chapter comes out, right? So like, what can you do? Unless if it were one continuous big chapter where we see everyone go back to back to back to back, then you'd be like, oh wow, that's crazy. But since it's like you have to wait, then it's the next one, and it's the same thing, and it feels repetitive. But then again, this is Sukuna who took out like a whole generation of sorcerers back in the golden age of sorcery. So I don't see why people are complaining. Like, what did you expect them to do? Like were people expecting Higuruma's ability to take his ability and then just touch him with the sword and he's dead? That's it? Or did you even expect Gojo to win off the rip and that's it? And then it was just a fight against Kenjaku? I mean, that's another thing, right? Like, okay, yes, they're having trouble with Sukuna. I mean, I sure hope they did, or else it'd be all that hype for nothing, right? I mean, this is apparently the strongest in history. But at the same time, they were able to pack up Kenjaku, right? So it was two. Well, I guess if you count Urome, 3 people who are really the antagonists of the story. One of them is gone. The other one's being distracted. And the one who's really the strongest is proving that, right? So I don't know what to tell you. Except for wait for the next chapter, and then wait for the next one, and then wait for the next one, and then wait and keep hoping that Yuji will do something, although he's useless. And then when it's finally over, you can reflect on it. You know, hindsight's 2020. Then we can be like, was it that good or was it that bad? And then we can be like, oh, actually, it was pretty hype seeing every week him Sukuna going through everybody. Although it'd be more interesting, I guess, if Sukuna had different ways to get through everybody, but all he's doing is blitzing them, just chopping them up. We're probably going to get Gojo back only for the sense that no one's holding a candle to Sukuna right now. And he just hit a black flash, so he's probably getting his curse energy back and reverse curse technique and his domain expansion and everything, right? I mean, once he gets that, realistically, you're not beating them, right? At least not with the team we have right now. And I mean, most of them are out of commission, right? Now, usually if he comes back and starts throwing hands, he might separate his soul, but I mean, he's just constantly eating attacks and attacks. How long can he do it, right? Until he just dies. Or runs out of curse energy, if anything. Especially because RCT takes up so much more curse energy. Unless he starts using Sukuna's ability, which would be kind of crazy, of course. We had that little moment where Sukuna was looking at his fingers that was cut after the bath. And so people were thinking, and I was thinking, like maybe that was Yuji, who unconsciously did that, but we shall see. Maybe he has a domain expansion or something. Or at the very least, if Gojo comes back to help, it's going to be that, to help, not to take care of like this Deus Ex Machina, whatever it's called, right? Where he just comes in and saves the day. Do I think he'll get a power up? I mean, there would be no point in bringing him back as he was, because he already lost at his previous power, right? So what I was thinking is, and I think some people have thought about this, where it's an open domain for Gojo, and only for neutralizing Sukuna's domain, okay? And the way he would do it was through a binding vow, okay? So that he doesn't have to just be like, oh, now I have open domain, I can do it easily peasy, and there's no problem, right? So instead, Sukuna opens his domain. Finally, he's like, uh-oh. Everybody's like, Ryuk Tenkai, whatever. Malevolent Kitchen. And then they're like, oh, wait, now it's over. And then you hear domain expansion, Infinite Void. And that's where Gojo can come in, do some binding vow, kind of like the simple domain where you can't move your feet or whatever. That way he can't get into the fight and do something like, you know, more than just open his domain. So he can open his domain, stay still, have hand signs, chance, whatever, and to stay put with a domain big enough to cover Sukuna's area as well as being open, and they both cancel out, because we know they cancel out. His was only destroyed, Gojo's was only destroyed from the outside because it was barrierless. But if they both have it, they'll both cancel out in the open, and then there we go. They're just fighting, and it's a tug of war, basically. Maybe try switching conditions, but I mean, what else could you switch? It's open, and the only thing was turning off the outside to hit, no, the inside one to hit him from the outside, but he had to touch Gojo, but if he keeps the distance and all that. So basically what I'm saying is, Gojo can come in case he gets the domain expansion, Sukuna does, open domain, and just stand there. Just to help them out, at least to be able to fight. Because once that domain goes off, anyone in it is cooked. Maki, anyone, even no curse energy, it literally atomized. Okay? Instantaneously. And that just goes to show also how strong Gojo was, right? Because if Sukuna is out here bodying guys like Yuta who are saying, wow, if this kid, if the Sukuna didn't have half the curse energy he has now compared to when he fought Gojo and was at that same level, we'd be cooked instantly. Like any one of these slashes would have killed us already, right? Which means Gojo was out here in a full domain expansion and just eating them, right? Multiple times. It wasn't just one time. He got broken like 2-3 times. I think 2 times. But either way, he was able to withstand that. So clearly, Gojo was on another level, right? So they're going to need him back. Or somehow Gege is going to make everyone on Gojo's level. Which even then isn't enough. Obviously, if they're all together on Gojo's level, that'd be crazy. But I mean, the fact that Gojo's like, I want to make a generation of sorcerers that can stand toe-to-toe, or not toe-to-toe, but like shoulder to shoulder with me? No. Didn't happen. Sorry. And you got no more time. It's it. This is the fight. And they've all been packed up so far, so it's not looking too good. The Honor one might have to come back, but I don't think it would be too bad as long as he does what I said. Again, there's also other people. Takaba can come back. Not Kutsakabe. Oh no. We'll see what Miguel does. And then we can continue talking, right? Until then, thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Want to see my takes on whatever happens next. And have a nice day, really. That's it. Let's all be excited and let Gege cook. That's all I gotta say. Actually, that's my message. Let Gege cook. Thanks for watching.